Welcome to By the Numbers, where with the help of my AI assistant Fanda, we'll gather the data on your favorite fictional worlds and then push it into a water tank full of eels that is housed inside a particle accelerator.
If I have to battle one more supervillain, I'm going to need a raise.
Sorry Fanda, you're getting paid in experience. Today, you'll be figuring out who is statistically the best villain in the live-action Spider-Man movie universe, starting with 2002's Spider-Man and ending with 2021's Spider-Man No Way Home. Please leave out the Infinity Saga, because Thanos would stomp, and please refrain from morbid time, as the Venom films and Morbius have yet to truly cross paths with live-action Spidey. The villainous competitors are Dr. Octopus, Sandman, Topher Grace's Venom, Lizard, Rhino, Electro, Vulture, Mysterio, Green Goblin, New Goblin, and Dane DeHaan Goblin. Who will come out on top? This is the best Spider-Man villain by the numbers. First, Fanda will analyze the mayhem created by each villain and count up the times they run amok. Then Fanda will pull their win-loss records against Spider-Man. After that, Fanda will analyze how many times they were able to outsmart the allegedly brilliant Peter Parker. And finally, we'll analyze which villain is the deadliest by counting up their kills, plus a few bonus categories for good measure. Okay Fanda, now that you've got the categories, please use your Fanda Tangle to scan the web and pull all the scenes in which a villain causes mayhem, property damage, or chaos. I don't expect exact numbers because we'll never know exactly how much of New York was destroyed as it got sucked towards Doc Ock's lair in Spider-Man 2, or how much of Venice was smashed in Far From Home. So just tell me who has the most moments of large-scale mayhem.
Scanning. Surprised it took you so long to use the word web. Scanning.
With 8 moments of mayhem and property destruction in 2002 Spider-Man, Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, easily wins this category. Defoe's Goblin hates balloons, threatens children, puts Aunt May in a hospital, starts house fires, kills his competition, and speaks loud enough to make sure his voice carries through a door so Mary Jane can hear him trash talk her. This is just in the first Spider-Man movie. Toss in his No Way Home mayhem that sees him breaking the barrier between universes, and wrecking a luxury condominium, and it's a runaway win. He also stabs Toby Spider and kills Aunt Tomei, but I'll get to that later. Kudos to Dr. Octopus for almost destroying New York City, and Quentin Beck and his murder drones deserve praise for the chaos he causes in Mexico, Venice, Budapest, and London. I also appreciate how Venom Peter Parker destroys that large water pipe while battling Sandman. There's going to be a lot of water issues in Manhattan after that brawl. I'm happy to see that Fanda included the jazz club scene in Spider-Man 3, and the awkward homecoming drive in Spider-Man Homecoming. I know no property was destroyed, but there's some serious mental damage occurring in these scenes. Next up, I want to know which villains have the best win-loss record against Spider-Man. Fanda, please count every skirmish, brawl, and final fight.
Scanning. Whip-in. Displaying results.
Michael Keaton is on the board! Batman and Porco Rosso would be proud that his high-flying character Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, went 4-1 against Peter throughout Spider-Man Homecoming. He dumps him in a lake, traps him in a truck, escapes the ferry attack, and dumps tons of concrete on Peter. Sure, he's arrested at the end, but he puts Peter through it during their altercations. He also drops a verbal beatdown on Peter during the uncomfortable homecoming scene. It's nice seeing that between Rhino, Mysterio, and Vulture, at least one of the 3 non-altered humans can take care of business. Next up, I want to know which bad guy uses their brilliance to outsmart the brainy Peter Parker. When I say outsmart, one of the best examples comes from Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock exhausts Spider-Man by forcing him to stop a runaway train. After Spidey's drained of all energy, he scoops the exhausted superhero up and takes him to Harry Osborn. If it's a smart plan that actually works, they get a point. Fanda?
Scanning. Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest superhero films ever made. Scanning.
When it comes to the smartest Spider-Man villain, the clear winner is another non-altered human, Mysterio. For the first 70 minutes of Far From Home, Quentin Beck fools Talos, Soren, and Spider-Man. He even convinces the world that they're being attacked by elemental monsters from another world. It's a brilliant plan that relies on murder drones, Stark technology, and the convincing of a gullible teenager to turn over his murder glasses. He's only foiled because none of his goons are like, hey, we should go grab that drone piece that broke off in Budapest. Like we said, Doc Ock wears down Spider-Man by forcing him to stop a runaway train in Spider-Man 2, and it's very practical and smart that Venom and Sandman team up to battle Peter in Spider-Man 3. But none of them pull off multiple schemes like Beck. Also, even when dead, Beck outs Peter Parker as Spider-Man. The guy can't stop racking up the W's. Finally, I want to know which villain has the largest kill count. So, Fanda, we'll never know exactly how many people Rhino killed in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 during the car chase, but do your best and only include the kills where you're like, that looks bad. For instance, during the bank robbery in Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus throws 3 cops in the air, and I'm 100% certain that at least one of them is killed.
This one?
Yep, that's the one.
Got it. Scanning. I'm not going to count it, but a stunt person gets wiped out in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Scanning.
The pumpkin bomb-loving Defoe Goblin and his 18 kills edges out Electro and his 17. Between the 3 scenes in Spider-Man, Goblin blows up his competitors, turns Oscorp board members into skeletons, and kills one of his co-workers. In No Way Home, he kills Aunt Tomei, and non-fatally stabs Spider-Man number 2. The guy just can't stop hurting people, or breaking glass. Toss in Dahan Goblin from Amazing Spider-Man 2, who's responsible for the death of Gwen Stacy, and the Goblins are a deadly crew. It's too bad that New Goblin gets killed by Topher Venom and not the other way around. New Goblin isn't really good at going Goblin mode. He has 0 kills. Defoe's Goblin, Electro, Doc Ock, and Mysterio account for 77% of the overall franchise kills, and all 3 massacres when at least 9 people are killed in one scene. The Doc Ock Evil Dead style melee in Spider-Man 2, the innocent bystanders being plastered by water and debris during Quentin Beck's staged attack on Venice and Far From Home, and Electro fatally electrocuting 9 guards during the Ravencroft Institute escape in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm pretty sure he electrified an entire building too, but I have no clue how many fatalities occurred, so we'll leave it out. When it comes to law enforcement kills, Lizard kills Captain Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man, and the combo of Sandman and Venom are responsible for 7 total kills in Spider-Man 3. When it comes to being the least deadly main villain who doesn't get short-term memory loss in a Spider-Man film, the title goes to Adrian Toomes, who accidentally kills Shocker and maybe kills a guy on the ferry when he knocks him out. He did, however, try to crush a teenage boy with thousands of pounds of concrete, so that gives him a bit of villain cred. He isn't a snitch like Beck. So Fandom, if you had to pick a winner based on the data you tracked, which villain is the best, or the best at being the worst?
Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. He has the most kills, created the most mayhem, appeared in the most movies, killed Aunt May, could have killed Spider-Man, and he's just the best. I mean, it's Willem Dafoe.
100% agreed. Okay, Fanda, while scanning the web, did you find any other cool data or stats?
Comic book movies love having the villains be connected with the heroes somehow, and only the Venom symbiote has nothing to do with Peter Parker. It just sort of plops down on Earth and attaches itself to Peter's moped. It's a loose connection, but Rhino is stealing from an Oscar truck, which is most certainly tied to Andrew Garfield's character. 6 of the 11 villains die in the 8 films, and based on the data, it's Sandman that's the hardest to kill. Venomized Spider-Man and New Goblin do everything in their power to kill him and can't. Venomized Spider-Man even thinks that he killed Sandman at one point, but instead just turns him into mud for a couple days. Between Dr. Octopus, Mysterio, Green Goblin and the Lizard, you don't want to be anywhere near a bridge in a world where Spider-Man exists. Spider-Man villains hate structures that connect 2 pieces of land that are separated by water. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin character has appeared in 4 of the 8 Spider-Man films. He appears in Spider-Man 1 through 3 and No Way Home. When you got Dafoe, you use him. Flint Marko aka Sandman is terrible at robbing banks and armored trucks. Not once does he escape with any money. Maybe he should have discreetly stolen beachgoers' wallets and purses.
So there you have it. Green Goblin is the best Spider-Man villain, both in our hearts and by the numbers. As always, thanks for watching, and thank you, Fanda, for being the last AI that isn't exclusively used for evil.
Be sure to like and subscribe.